Welcome, everyone, to our seminar today, Building Your Future Summer Experiences That Stand Out. We look forward to having an eye-opening, informative session today with our speakers. My name is Hannah Wang, and I am the co-president of Michigan Youth Empowerment Foundation's Youth Leadership Committee. I am a senior at International Academy, Oklahoma.
Hi, my name is Michelle Zhang. I'm the Vice President of the Michigan Youth Empowerment Foundation Youth Leadership Committee, and I'm a senior at Rochester Adams High School.
Hi, my name is William Dong. I'm the secretary for the Michigan Youth Empowerment Foundation's Youth Leadership Committee, and I am a senior at Troy High School.
Hi, my name is Paul Lay. I'm part of the Youth Leadership Committee, and I'm a junior at Troy High School.
Hi, my name is Teddy. I'm also part of the Youth Leadership Committee. I'm also a junior at Troy High School. We will be your speakers for this event.
Michigan Youth Empowerment, founded in 2016, is a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to empowering students with the tools and knowledge necessary to succeed in the 21st century. Our program is designed to foster students' interest in STEAM, leadership, and community, helping to bridge the gap between academics and real-world technological applications. Our initiatives focus on leadership, community impact, and early career exploration.
YLC, which stands for Youth Leadership Committee, is a group of high school students passionate about making an impact in their community. We have partnerships with libraries and other community centers in hosting STEM classes and other events. Our MYE Beat website stands for Beat Entertained at All Times. This website, run by the YLC, started in COVID 2020 in order to entertain readers through hard times. Go check it out.
We will now move on to a quick overview of today's agenda. We have 5 experiences to cover. Our first speaker is William, who will be talking about STEM summer camps. Next, we'll shift to Michelle, where she will talk about the Carnegie Mellon University summer session. Third, Paul will tell us about summer research internships under a professor. Next, I'll discuss my job experiences from both soccer and McDonald's. Finally, we'll wrap up with Hannah, who'll be addressing information about part-time job experiences along with her summer music camp experience at the University of Michigan. At the end, we will have a Q&A session, so please feel free to use the Q&A function as our speakers present. We'll make sure to address your questions then.
If you're new to Zoom webinars, I will explain the Q&A function. The Q&A function is right next to the raise hand icon, and you can choose to ask questions anonymously or with your name. Please write down your questions as we go, and we will address them all in the end. Now we will begin with our first speaker, William.
Thank you, Michelle, for the introduction. For my portion of the seminar, I will be speaking on what STEM summer programs are, the application process behind it, cost of attending, any financial aid, and my experience at the summer science program. Next slide. So before we get to the finer details, let's answer the question, what are STEM summer programs? So STEM summer camps are incredible opportunities for high schoolers who are STEM inclined to continue their interest in STEM. These programs are multifaceted, offering students opportunities to learn and explore advanced coursework, typically college level, collaborate in research, think critically while analyzing real-world data to solve complex problems, and work in team settings with like-minded peers. So inherently, this complex environment causes most programs to be highly selective. Programs acceptance rates range from 5 to 15%. But if you're lucky enough to be accepted to a program, they offer tons of benefits. The primary one, which most of you parents are probably most interested in, is the benefit to strengthening one's college application. These programs, being selective, involving research and in a collaborative environment, show colleges' passion and other valuable intangibles. Also showing how students spend their summers in activities they are passionate about are also very important to colleges. But beyond college, networking is also a strong benefit as participants not only network with like-minded peers who will probably be in similar industries in the future, but also professors and graduate assistants in STEM fields. Students also get a taste in research and college-like experiences. With that being said, here are some top summer research/math programs. The research camps are generally, or these three are only open to rising seniors, and the math camps are open to rising juniors and seniors. So the top left one on your screen under the research programs is RSI, Research Science Institute, and I did not personally apply to this program. It's the only one I didn't apply to. RSI has around a 2% acceptance with 100 spots each year, and it's held on MIT's campus. Students are mentored in STEM fields before starting their own research projects. And the application deadline is early/mid December, and there are different rounds in the application. SSP, or the Science Summer Program, the one a little bit under to the right of our side, was the summer program I attended and had an 11% acceptance last year, but they are expanding the program, so that's a good sign. SSP accepts 36 students each year to each campus, and there's many campuses with many different tracks. These 36 students are 18 girls and 18 boys. It's mandated by their board, and each research track students work in small teams on real long-term scientific research projects in the three tracks: astrophysics, biochemistry, and genomics, with guidance from experienced faculty, which are 4 professors and 4 graduate assistants. The application deadline typically falls in late January for international students and mid to late February for US applicants. The process includes multiple components, which I will discuss later. BU Rise is held on Boston University's campus and has a similar 10 to 20% acceptance. Students are placed in active university research labs or structured research practicums, where they work and learn alongside faculty, graduate assistants, and researchers in STEM fields. Students are paired with faculty in specific fields, and the application deadline typically falls in early February. Math camps, on the other side, have all around the same acceptance rate at around 15%. PROMIS, or the Program in Mathematics for Young Scientists, is also held on Boston University's campus, but this program focuses on advanced math, particularly number theory, and emphasis on conjecture, proof, and problem solving, rather than lectures and research. The application deadline is early March, and it has it includes a math problem set in addition to the standard application materials. Ross Math Program is held in various campuses across the Midwest, some in Ohio and Indiana. And this program focuses on proof-based mathematics, specifically number theory, and it has an emphasis on more rigorous problem solving and mathematical reasoning. And this program's application deadline is mid-March. And finally, SUMAC, or the Stanford University Mathematics Camp, is hosted at Stanford with both residential and online options. And the program focuses on abstract algebra and number theory, so it's a little different than the other two. And this one has the earliest deadline in early February. All of these camps have a relatively similar application process, which I will get into on the next slide. So what does the application process look like? It's very similar to a college application process. So recommendations, transcripts, standardized testings, essays, generally asking teachers 3 or more weeks before deadlines are good for them to have sufficient time to give a recommendation, sending teachers information about you, and somewhat of a brag sheet is good, so they have a better recommendation. And for these teachers, it's good to have core teachers being math or the science subject adjacent to your research application. And some camps also require counselor recommendations as well. And beyond recommendations, maintaining good course rigor and high grades is another strong point. Almost everyone I know who got into these summer programs took some arrangement of the most difficult courses available in their interests. And finally, don't stress about it. The most important thing is continuously showing your interest and passion in these subjects. So that could be through extracurriculars, and for STEM specific camps, competitions and Olympiads that show more advanced knowledge are good. But other than that, there are like other intangibles like volunteering is a big part. Organizations such as MIE provide opportunities. And um, other than that, one of the most underrated aspects of these applications is preparing students for real college applications, and a little less so, but the rejections. I mean, I've been rejected from a bunch applying through the years, and it's given me a good taste. Next slide. The main difference between research and math camps and the application process is what they're looking for. Research camps have only essays submitted, so they have more questions and longer spaces for you to describe yourself, and they'll look into these more deeply. While math camps, on the other hand, value problem sets way higher because they're like some of the only camps with them. And more specifically, not just getting the right answer, but like the thinking behind it, the explanations, and those are very important. So for essays, I brought two of the SSP essays as an example. And the first one is, what scholarly topics do you currently find most interesting and why? When and how did you become aware of it? How have you explored it? And feel free to discuss the topic in STEM, out of STEM, or both. So this one's looking for someone's application into their specific field. It's generally best. Like if you're applying astrophysics, how does math and physics relate? And for me, I wrote mine about math modeling and graph theory and its uses in physics. And I think that was tangent to or related to astrophysics, and it kind of helped. And the second piece is, we know you lead a busy life full of activities, many of which are required of you. Tell us about something you choose to do for enjoyment or relaxation. And this is looking for someone to be a little more dynamic, to be more well-rounded in a way. And I wrote mine about camping as I thought it provided this a more dynamic perspective. Next slide. And math problem sets, they're including some like really difficult questions. So the top one's from Promise and the bottom one's from Ross. If you read it, like it's not going to be immediate, and it probably will take lots of steps with explanation, and it might take hours to get a good solution, and sometimes you might not get any, and that's what they're really looking for. So the cost and financial aid. These camps are expensive, and like almost 10,000 for each except RSI, which is completely free. But there is also substantial financial aid. SSP is a great example for this. Uh, Families earning less than $100,000 a year get absolutely everything covered, and they also get stipends for lost wages. Um, and it's like need-based partial aid until 200,000 when when aid is cut off. And it's really similar for the other for the other math camps as well. Next. So my experience really briefly at SSP, I thought it was very similar to college life. You dine, you have a roommate, you explore campus, there's tons of freedom and time to spend with your friends. It also is pretty rigorous. So you had a lot of time in the classroom, a lot of time in research settings, late nights observing, because I did the astrophysics track. I was at the University of Colorado Boulder, and the trips we had were group based around that. So we went hiking every single week. We also went to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. We toured their facilities. Um, Mud Lake, a zero light pollution place. It was great. And there was a diverse base, lots of international kids from different backgrounds, including and for work, we had teams of three into researching and modeling asteroid trajectory. So on the top right, there's just like 4 pages of our research. Um, we used two telescopes and in observing our asteroid, and overall it was a great outlook and experience into research.
Thank you, William, for sharing your valuable insights, and now I will be sharing an academic summer program. So I attended the Carnegie Mellon summer session the past summer. For a brief introduction, the Carnegie Mellon University has a lot of pre-college programs, and the summer session is just one of their main academic programs. You can take undergraduate courses there, and there are approximately 30 courses you can choose from. You are there for 6 weeks, and you get a grade, which is A, B, C, D, and below a D is a fail, and you get college credits. It's in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You must be 16-year-old to start by the start date, which is June 20th, and you must be a high school rising junior or rising senior during that summer. There are two housing options. One is commuter and the other is residential. So to be a commuter, the student and the parent or the guardian must have a permanent residence within the area. And you can take one or two courses if you're a commuter. But if you don't meet that requirement, then you have to be residential. If you're residential, you must take two courses. And there are multiple dorm buildings that they will assign you to. They will assign you to one of them. So you get a curfew and there are rules. So for my specific dorm room, we have 3 people in my dorm, and we have a bathroom, a living room, and a bedroom. So to apply, the application deadline is March 1st. However, if you're an international student or you're applying for a scholarship, then the deadline is February 1st. And the normal decision releases on April 15th for normal, and international and scholarship is March 15th. The application process is very similar to the college application. So you fill out a bunch of personal information, activities and awards, which is like extracurriculars. You answer to essay prompts, you provide your high school transcript, and there are optional standardized test scores, which is like SAT and ACT. And you have to provide a recommendation letter from your high school teacher, and there will be a application fee. So I took two courses. One was Principles of Computing. This is like computer science, and we mainly coded with Thonny. We also learned Python principles. So lectures are Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. We get Wednesday off in the morning, 9:30 to 10:50 a.m. And we have recitations. This is where you are assigned into groups and you get to discuss with your TA and work on problems together. This is on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays, 3:30 to 4:20 p.m. The other course I took was Reasoning with Data. This is statistics and data analytics. If you took AP Stats in high school, this is very similar to that. We have lectures on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 12:30 a.m. to 1:50 p.m. We have labs. This is on Tuesdays and Thursdays, the same time of the day. So for some additional information, the dining pass gives you access to multiple dining halls and restaurants across campus. It provides 3 meals a day. However, you have to go in during specific time blocks for it to count as these 3 meals. And we have a lot of activities. You have 4th of July fireworks. You go on trips to see baseball games. And there are also trips to local festivals around the city. The people at the program are very diverse. There are a lot of international students coming from different countries all over the world and people from different places of the US. So my total cost is approximately 14K, and this is the total, so it includes the dining pass, which is everything I ate, and the housing fee, like the dorms, and the course fee, the classes I took. Now, why should you choose Carnegie Mellon summer session? I really got to experience what a college life is like. I challenged myself to take rigorous college classes and learn not only textbook content, but also a lot of ways to study better. I met a lot of amazing people and created like unforgettable memories. I also explored the city, Pittsburgh, with my friends and visited beautiful sites. And overall, I just had amazing summer there. And that wraps up my section. We will move on to Paul.
Thank you, Michelle, for your introduction and your information on the CMU summer program. Next, I'll be talking about research internships as well as the type of work students are expected to engage in. Internships are designed to be a research opportunity for high school students to work alongside active researchers in science, engineering, or technology. Students usually support current ongoing research efforts that are already underway, and in most cases, students work directly with a faculty member, a doctorate student, or a postdoc researcher, depending on the structure of the lab. It is important to emphasize that students are not expected to operate independently at the level of advanced researchers. They're only high school students, anyways. Rather, they contribute within a supervised framework where tasks are assigned based on skill level and project needs. Um, this mirrors how research teams function in the real world with clearly defined roles and responsibilities. A central focus of this experience is understanding how research is formulated and tested. Students are introduced to the full research process, and in practical terms, students may assist with data collection, data analysis, or some basic programming tasks depending on the discipline and the project. They typically participate in regular lab meetings and/or check-ins where progress and next steps are discussed. And most students also contribute to experiment tracking, code documentation, written summaries, which are essential components of responsible research practice. In addition, being a research intern is great for younger students in high school, especially because most competitive summer programs require students to be a junior or a senior. Overall, this role is structured to provide early exposure to authentic research workflows while maintaining expectations appropriate for high school students. Next slide, please. There are some important things to know about research internships. First, with respect to prerequisites, prior experience is not required of students. Students are not expected to have extensive expertise in the specific research area, and your mentors will expect you to know everything, and they will provide you with training and guidance, especially in the initial stages of involvement. However, some things are expected, like a willingness to learn, the ability to follow instructions carefully, and consistent engagement over time. Research environments place a strong value on reliability, attention to detail, and clear communication, and students are expected to meet agreed upon deadlines, ask questions when further clarification is needed, and/or communicate progress or challenges appropriately to their mentors. Students gain many new skills and experiences, such as exposure to research methods and scientific reasoning, and these skills are transferable among many STEM disciplines. Additionally, students gain documented experience working on structured research projects, and they support future academic opportunities and possibly programs, internships, and ultimately college applications. By demonstrating sustained engagement and familiarity with research environments, students that are research internships set themselves apart. Some of the things that I did at my research internship, the top picture was a PowerPoint that I had to make to show my mentor that I understood what he sent me to read about. This is the part where I was talking about that mentors don't expect you to know everything, but they will expect you to have a willingness to learn. And then the bottom two pictures are some simple data analysis I did on my research topic. Yep, yep. Some tips for finding research opportunities. Um, for students, they can look at local colleges and search up their faculty directory page. In there, they'll see all the professors that do research or teach at the university. And typically, they can go in and read what they specifically do, even within a specific major. Another tip is to stay organized. Um, I've sent a lot of emails to try to get a research opportunity, especially when I was cold emailing. So it's very important to stay organized, know who you're emailing, know what they actually do, and make sure that, for example, you don't email them twice on accident or forget to follow up with them. Additionally, it's although no previous experience is required, uh, if you go to, let's say, a specific professor and you try to understand one of the papers that they previously wrote about, it shows them that you are already having a willingness to learn. Finally, when you send an email, there are many cold email templates you can find online. That's what I used. Mostly, you just talk about why you want to do research with them, a brief introduction to yourself, and maybe an explanation of why you're passionate about it. Um, you could also send a resume or a transcript and attach it in the email for them to see. Uh, next, uh, next up is Teddy talking about jobs and sports.
Thank you, Paul, for talking about your research. Next slide. Oh, wait, no, oh, yeah, okay. Um, a soccer referee, to start, a soccer referee is a person who manages a soccer game while like applying the rules in the way it's supposed to play, be while making sure the players are safe. Next one. Next one. So the first requirement is that you have to be at least 13 years old to register. After that, like you have to fill out some form. After you fill out the forms, the next thing you have to do is like sign up for a 3 hour virtual session. The virtual session is where you like watch videos and then like you have to fill out questions as well. The virtual session like costs somewhere between 65 to $70, and then like and then after once you complete the virtual session, you're gonna have to like sign up for an in-person session, which is like the closest location to your house. And in that in-person session, they'll like go over things that you learn in those videos, and then you should do the registration in the summer because you have more time to like complete this registration process. Then there's also more opportunities to do it in the summer rather than the winter. Once you're done with the in-person session, the our state soccer administration is going to send you a free badge through the mail, and like when you're also officially soccer referee, the Michigan Referee Insight is going to like send you opportunities that you can sub into ref. You can also find a local league to ref as well. The pay like depends on age level and where you do the refereeing. I've been doing it at Troy TYSL, which is Troy Youth Soccer League, since eighth grade, and like the minimum pay I got per game is $30. And like every year, you gotta do the recertification, which is like just a 1 to 2 hour virtual session, which is just a recap of what you do along with the updates to the game. Next slide. So what you gain is that you learn how to like make split section decisions, and then you also learn how to handle pressure, how to talk to adults, and how to talk to players. You can write this on your work resume. When I'm so when applying to McDonald's, I wrote this on my application, like counts as job experience in leadership in college applications. Excellent. Okay. So basically, um, a McDonald's worker is like where you work at like a local franchise and like you work with the and you work and the goal is to like get the customer's orders as fast as possible. Excellent. Okay, so you have to be at least 14 to like work as one. Most high schoolers usually start working at 16. There's an online application that asks you for a few personal questions. And then after that, you're gonna get an email from a person asking you when you can do a 15-minute interview over the phone. In the interview, they ask you like to introduce yourself, what experience you have, what to do during certain customer situations. The only preparation I did was I just typed out like how I'm gonna introduce myself. If you pass the interview, the next thing that's gonna happen is that you're gonna fill out the which work permit with like your permit that has your like your school's admin signature, the franchisees, the managers of the franchise signature, and like your parents. And then just a fun fact, one in eight Americans have the experience of working at McDonald's. Oh yeah, what you do is that you clean, uh, get things from like the freezer room, scoop up the fries after you put in like the bin for 3 minutes, be the cashier, like, and then you talk to customers. You can't sit, and then like you fill up the drinks. And what you gain is that you master conversation with adults. You learn what to do when a customer suddenly gets mad for no reason. You learn how to work with others. You learn how to work in tense situations. You learn how to deal with managers who like do favoritism, for example. It counts as work experience on college applications, and then you can also work on your work resume. And then finally, for the pay, you get paid minimum wage, but then the benefits are like you get half price on everything under a purchase of $10 normal price, and you get like infinite refills for soft drinks if you want to drink during work or after works. Up next is Hannah, who's gonna talk about uh, her sports and music camp, along with the job experiences, part-time job experiences.
Thank you, Teddy, for your wonderful insight. So I'm going to be talking about my part-time job for sports and also my music camp. So, um, so students are my first one is being a assistant golf coach for TGA, which is an organization that helps teach younger kids tennis and golf. Students, like high school students like me, are able to teach elementary schoolers after school at different schools and districts for during the school season. So the seasons there are three different seasons. There's the autumn season, the winter season, and the spring season. And there's also a summer season where during the summer, summer camps are held, and typically these are longer. These are longer because they're camps, and we take the children and help them learn how to golf while their parents are at work. And these are typically from like 9 a.m. to 4 a.m. And you can sign up for they're a week long, so every single day of 1 week, you would be going there, and you would provide them lunch and also take them out on the course while also doing fun drills and practices. And for during the school season for each elementary school, it would be 1 hour after school, typically starting at maybe around 3:30 to 4, so that you can get there in time and you can help the head coach set up and help the other assistant coaches who will also be with you. So typically there's one head coach there and around 2 to 3 assistant coaches, um, depending on how many kids are there and how big the school is. And then about a little bit about this is the age requirement. You must be a high schooler or finished with middle school. So some are going into ninth grade. And as Teddy has said before, there's now a requirement to fill out documents if you are a minor, and you have to get permission. And for skills, you have to have knowledge on golf in order to teach the students. And because experience is fundamental, of course, they want to hire you as an assistant coach if you don't know the sport. And lastly, the pay would be $20 per hour. And many people would have multiple jobs during the week. So even though it's an hour after school, which means you only get $20 per class you teach, it's stretched across like 2 months. So it'd be once every single week. And typically people work at different schools. Um, yeah. And so next is the camp I attended, which is the Impulse Girls in Music Technology Camp. This is a camp part of the University of Michigan School of Music, Theater, and Dance program. Um, Impulse Girls in Music, that's the name of the program that I attended, is a in-person day camp designed to encourage participants of all genders in activities at the intersection of music and technology. So even though the name says Girls in Music and Technology, it is open to all genders. A little more about this is that students do not need to bring any equipment. All of the equipment and necessary software will be provided through the camp. And this is a little bit different to all of the programs that you've seen that the previous speakers have talked about because this is more of a program where you have fun. It's not as selective, so it won't be that much of pressure to get in. It's a program where you learn about something new or you improve on what you already know. You don't really have to have previous music knowledge before this. And there are, although this isn't as selective of a program, there are many selective programs at the University of Michigan, this specific, their School of Music, Theater, and Dance. So the more selective program would be the Composition Institute, where people would play their own instruments and compose their own music. And of course, other programs where you have to know prior skills like how to play the piano or the flute in order to be a part of their program. So you have to submit a whole entire portfolio on how well you play and your experience in playing. So there are summer programs like this one is a summer program, as well as the Composition Institute. But there are school year programs like the Michigan Youth Ensembles, the Michigan Youth Performing Arts Pre-College Program, M-Dance, and the Piano Pedagogy Laboratory Program. And you can find more of this information on the website. You can search up University of Michigan, SMTD, which is School of Music, Theater, and Dance, in order to learn more about the programs. Um, And a little more about this program is that each student will have their individual workstation, which features a lot of programs that you can use, like Ableton Push, Max 9, a MIDI keyboard, an audio interface, a headphone amp, and a Makey Makey kit. So the bullet pointed list shown is typically what you learn and do here at this camp. Um, and sorry, we went to a what I experienced when I went to during this program was we went to a live recording session, which was really interesting to me because they teach you a lot about what goes on during recording sessions and for projects that the students do at this school. So this program really helps you gain insight on what you would actually do for a production major at the school. And we would sit in, we would help them set up, and we would help them unset up and put everything away. To the picture on the right, that was inside a recording booth where we learned about all about the wires and where the placement was. We also saw how they were able to change like the volume or change different parts of the recording sessions in order to make a good file to use. Furthermore, we went to a place where they film videos. So it was a big room with a huge green screen, and this was where they would film videos for their projects to put their music over. Um, Furthermore, during this, what we did was we were able to use Ableton Push, which is a music program, if you don't know or if you haven't used it before. And we used it to create live drum beats, and we used it to create, we used the loops in this function, which is pre-made recordings of music, to create our own tracks and our own beats. Um, and we experimented with different things. For example, we would go outside and take a recording device and record random sounds out around the building in order to incorporate in our music, which was something really fun. And the pictures on the left, the top and bottom, is where we both learned and hosted performances. So at the end of every single week, we would host a display show where we would show what we worked on. And we were able to learn about sound system and the light system, which you can see in the top upper left picture, about all the different lights and the computer screens and how we were able to change those in according to our projects. And this makes your, although I've said before, even though this is a less selective program, it helps you just learn more, have fun in general with learning, and also makes your college application look more broad. Um, some more information about this is housing is not provided for the Impulse Girls in Music Technology program, as it is a 10-day program that has evenings and weekends off. The dates are August 3rd through 14th, and this is this would be when the camp is held next year. The tuition is $750, and these are the two deadlines for the program next year. Also, you would bring your own lunch, and because it is not provided at the school. And during lunchtime, you would be able to go around and sit on different parts of the campus in order to eat and explore. And the pictures on the right show some more things that we do. So on the picture on the left is where we experiment with different types of equipment, which was really fun and interesting as I've never seen any of these types of equipment before. They were very unique, and we recorded it. In the big room. And the photo on the right is a photo of the individual practice room. So this is where an assistant teacher was helping a student fix their project or alter things, and where they have questions. For the application for this, it isn't as intense as the programs mentioned before. What you do need is to answer a short essay, which I will show you the questions on the next slide. You will need your transcript, and you have the option to submit a portfolio of what you've done before. And the age requirement is grades 9 through 12, so being a high schooler, and you don't need any prior experience. The photo on the right shows the acceptance email that I got for this program. And it just shows basically what I needed in order to participate in this program. So this is the short essay response. And these are all the questions that you have to answer in your short essay. So it would make it quite long, which is saying short essay is kind of ironic. But who are you? What do you like about music? Why do you want to participate in the camp? Which activities are you looking forward to? And why do you think it's important to expand opportunities for women and girls and non-binary in music technology? And finally, name an inspirational woman or person who has worked with technology and music and explain why you find her to be inspiring. Hmm. So, when I answered these questions, I basically talked about my past experience with music because I have I've had a lot of experience with music programs before. I've used GarageBand and Logic Pro. And this is a good place to mention if you've had experience before or not. So I wanted to participate in this camp because I wanted to broaden my knowledge in music, and it really did help me broaden my knowledge. It helped me learn how to use unexpected sounds while making my music, which was really fun for me because it just helped me express myself more. And for what we did, the picture on the right are all the files that I made during this program. So there were 2 weeks. So we had two display shows. So what I did for one of my display shows was I used the Makey Makey, which is basically a device where if you see online those videos where you attach like bananas to like clips and then you press the bananas and then they make the sound. I did something similar. I folded paper swans and I hung them up. And during the display, I was playing like live beat music. I was making it live. And then I invited the audience to come up and touch the swans so that and that's linked to different sounds. So once they touch the swan, they would be able to create the music on their own as well. And that was like really interesting because I was one of the only people who allowed the audience to participate. And then it was a very eye-opening experience because I had all of these files that I could keep in order to further demonstrate my knowledge um, in my future experiences. Lastly is the professor. So this is the professor that helped me or taught us. And there are assistants as well, which are students in the program learning under her. So they have majors in this school and they are assistants. They're selected through applications, so they get interviews with her, and that's how they are selected to help teach us in this program. And a lot of the tracks this teacher makes is using nature noises, and she's pretty well known in her field. She has a PhD, and throughout this course or this program, I was able to join the music course at my school. So I chose music as my elective in my own school in order to further express my interest in music, and I just thought that this was a very eye-opening experience for me. And that concludes my part of the presentation. So William will help us move on to the Q&A session.
Michigan Youth Empowerment, founded in 26. Wait, sorry. Um, Thank you, Hannah, and a huge thank you to all of our speakers for sharing such valuable insights and guidance to help us prepare for our college application and future summer plans. We truly appreciate the time and thought you've put into your presentations, and we'll be sure to put your advice to good use. Now we'll be moving on to our Q&A session.
Please feel free to continue submitting any questions or concerns, and we'll share them with our speakers. Your questions can be directed to a specific person or asked more generally, and we'll do our best to make sure each one is addressed. Just a reminder that the Q&A function is right next to the raise hand icon, and you can choose to ask questions there. The speakers will take turns to answer your questions in just a minute.
So me and Michelle will be taking the questions from the Q&A, and we will be asking our speakers. So Ben, I see that you've raised your hands. Could you please put your question in the Q&A? Thank you. So a question from an attendee is, do you have any suggestions about summer camp benefits for future medical field students? Would anyone like to answer this one? So for this question, I think that personally I haven't had any experience with medical programs, But for I've had a lot of friends who've participated in medical programs, and there are a lot. If you search up online, I'm pretty sure UMich has a lot of good medical programs, as well as John Hopkins. Those are really good medical schools, so that you can find summer camps if you look it up on the website. I don't think anyone here has any medical has any experience in medical programs. I think a lot of these are about science and just research papers. But yeah, Michelle, do you want to ask the next question?
Mm-hmm. And there's a question directed to, I think, William. It says, where is SSP at?
There are various locations across the country, and my campus was at the University of Colorado Boulder, but SSP as a program is independent of these college campuses. Um, it's an independent organization. It just rents out these places. And there's locations in New Mexico, Georgia. I think UNC has a place, Maine. There's a place in Canada, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is, what would matter more on my college resume, using my summer for a job, summer job, or um, um, using, I'm sorry, this question is worded a little weirdly, but what would matter on my college resume, using a summer job or a summer program? Does anyone want to take that question? If not, then I will take it, because I did both. So I think both matter equally, or both are equally important, because having a job will show responsibility, and it'll help you gain experience in the real world, how to handle and manage and communicate with other people, especially a boss, which you do not have in a summer program. So usually in summer jobs, you have a superior and you have to find a way to fill out many things that are not required to for a summer program. So the applications look different. You do not necessarily need a transcript for a job, but you do have to provide experience. And so summer programs are different. These are things where you learn the skills differently, because these are more programmed to help you learn more about a specific field instead of gaining experience in the real world. So I would say both of these are equally as important. There is no one that is more important than the other. Internships are really important. I feel if you can get an internship, that would look really good on your college application, because internships, you gain real world knowledge. If you earn money during that job, during or money earning internships, these are really good, valuable experiences while also learning how to do stuff at the actual work site. So I think having a job and a doing a summer program is equally as important. But you can also have different years to, like, you don't have to like do everything in one summer. Like you can have a summer part-time job for 1 year, and then you could have do a summer program the next year. So you don't really have to necessarily stick to one. You can go around and try everything in order to see what suits you the best. And Michelle, do you want to ask the next question?
The next question is, if the SAT or the ACT is required, does this mean that only 11th graders is eligible to apply for the summer school? And is there any recommendation to University of Michigan summer school? So if it says it's required, then yes, because most summer programs are only open for rising juniors or rising seniors. However, now a lot of schools, they are like they only require optional test scores. So for example, the Carnegie Mellon, it is optional, so you don't have to submit your scores. And so for University of Michigan summer school, I attended MMSS. That's the Michigan Math and Science Scholarship Program. This is also open to rising 10th graders. and I did not have to submit a SAT score. You can choose to submit your PSAT score, but you don't have to.
Thank you. For Ben, the question where you asked, do we have any medical school summer programs? One thing is that NYE did a college application seminar in August, which was heavily focused on the med program. So you can check out our recording on YouTube that we did for the seminar. So if you search up our Michigan Youth Empowerment Foundation on YouTube, then you will be able to see that seminar that we did. And it was a college seminar where we invited different high school students in order to talk about where they got into school and how the college application works. And two out of those three speakers were going into med school. So they talked about what programs that they attended. So you are welcome to watch that. Um, and a question is where and how to find research internship opportunities. I think that, or does anyone want to answer this question before I start talking?
I can do this one.
Okay.
For most research internships, either you get one at a summer program, which is either, for example, some of them you apply and then you meet faculty there and then you can continue research with them, or the entire purpose of the summer program is to work with them. So that's an internship. Other ones, generally, you would just cold email professors in your area. And then, like I said, you send out emails and hopefully they respond and they give you an internship.
Yes, so that was what I was about to say as well, cold emailing the professors. I think it is very important to communicate, especially since not a lot of internship opportunities you really come across easily. So really think that if you are persistent and you really want research opportunities, you have to constantly email professors, even if they don't respond. Email them again. Of course, don't email them like six times if they don't respond. Like maybe stop at like two or three. But I really do think that if you have enough passion and if you talk about like why you want to do this research opportunity in your email, they will see that you are like really interested in doing it, and they'll often like reply to you and help you with your research. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Hannah. And the next question is, usually what is the earliest time, the age and grades the student can apply for a summer program? Does anyone want to answer this one?
Generally, there are summer programs available to freshmen, rising freshmen, and rising sophomores, but um, more competitive summer programs are generally limited to rising seniors.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, as Paul mentioned in his I think he mentioned that his program there wasn't really specific age requirement, but for the rest of our programs there were like specifically limited to high school students. But yeah, research for generally for research there really isn't an age requirement for you to like want to research. But if you want to attend a program, usually there are age restrictions.
Thank you. And another question is how to obtain the official high school transcript. So this one you will have to email your school counselor at your high school. And another question is how long is the STEM summer program camp?
So
William.
for these programs, they're like 5 to 6 weeks generally. My program was 5 weeks.
Thank you. One question from Ben. Usually, what's the deadline or time in university summer camp, for example, for the Carnegie one and the BU?
Usually applications are due around this time. RSI was due 3 days ago, and more of them are due in February and March.
So RSI is one of the only camps due around this time because of the multiple stages, but generally, um, earliest are around early February and latest around mid-March. I think BU Rise was specifically um, late February with its application deadline.
So for Carnegie Mellon, the normal deadline is March 1st, but if you're an international student or if you're applying for scholarship, that will be February 1st.
Another question is, does the music program have a minimum age to apply? I did mention this in my thing, but I can, yes, it is for high schoolers, so ninth through 12th grade. And next question is, what can I do in next summer for a ninth grader? And Paul said he would like to answer this.
There's some things you could do as a ninth grader. Most programs are open for the summer between 11th grade and 12th grade. But as a ninth grader, you can look for some specific programs that might be open to a ninth graders. Otherwise, it might be a good idea to do research internships under a professor or even like shadow doctor or something.
Thank you. We will be answering last two to three questions. Should I choose a independent research with a professor or do a summer research program? Which one would be more cost effective and which one would just generally be better? Would anyone like to answer this? Paul or William? I think you guys
So,
have oh, sorry, yeah.
um, I was just thinking about it as a response. Generally, independent research can help you get into a competitive research summer program, and you can continue your experience through it. You don't want to do, if you don't want to uh, have the cost associated with it, independent research is fine, but summer programs are generally good in showing colleges um, application through the summer and uh, application to a competitive environment.
Thank you. And another question is that were there any other camps you were applying for, and what made you choose the camp that you went to? So for me, for that summer, I also applied to the UC Berkeley summer camp. That is like very similar to Carnegie Mellon, but I got accepted to Carnegie Mellon first, so I just chose Carnegie. And does anyone else wants to share?
Um, for me, I applied to all of the summer camps listed above um, except RSI, and I ended up choosing SSP because specifically the track they're going on under BU Rise. I also got into BU Rise, but the research I felt was a little less specific, and the environment was not as good as SSP, so I ended up just choosing SSP.
Thank you. The last question we will answer today, if you um are or the last two, because I just see one from the another one from the Q&A. How much time did you spend on one application averagely? Someone want to answer that?
For the math camps, I would say I spent 10 to 20 hours on each one, and for the research ones, about 10 hours.
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I just was for my camp, I just spent like I think 2 weeks because it takes a little longer for me to write essays because we had to answer multiple essay prompts.
Thank you. Last question is, are summer programs really that helpful and useful, especially the knowledge you learn and not just being accepted into a prestigious selective camp?
So
So, oh, sorry, go ahead.
you do learn like college level classes, and you do perform research in a competitive environment. So in a specific uh, for the field. So I do think it is valuable in addition to the competitiveness.
Thank you. Now Michelle will help us wrap up. And I do want to share that this meeting is, or the seminar is recorded. So we will be posting the link to this on our YouTube page, similar to where our college seminar was posted as well. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, speakers, for your answers, and that will conclude our Q&A session for today. And if you have any additional questions or concerns, or if your question wasn't addressed during the session, please feel free to reach out and contact us at ylc@myefound.org. I will type that in the chat, and we will give a minute for people to take a picture of this slide.
So that brings us to the end of today's seminar. A big thank you again to our speakers for sharing their journeys and to all of you for joining us and contributing such thoughtful questions. We hope you're leaving with valuable insights to guide you in your own path ahead. Also want to wish our amazing speakers a very best of luck as they continue through their academic journey. And you've inspired us all today. Wishing everyone success in the future. We look forward to seeing you at our next event. Thank you.